What's going on, guys? Bflattened here with a brand new build video today. This is Scrub Cub Moze. Is going to be working off of the Force Skill Tree and Iron Cub rather than Iron Bear Moze. Let's just get right into it, shall we? So in our purple tree, we only have one skill in here, which is really big guns. We have 5 out of 5 on it, and Iron Bear gains increased damage. Now the way that Iron Cub works is that Iron Cub is basically a mini version of Iron Bear. Anything that has Iron Bear will also affect Iron Cub. So this Iron Bear gaining increased damage goes right into your Iron Cub. Into our blue tree, we have Fire in the Skag's Den, which is whenever we do splash damage, we get bonus fire damage. We have Deadlines, firing Iron Bear weapons drain less fuel. Means of Destruction, whenever Moze deals splash, you add in either a grenade or ammo chance. Grenade is a little bit lower. Torque Cross promo, all splash damage has the chance to double in size, and additionally Moze and Iron Bear deal increased splash damage. Stainless Steel Bear, now this doesn't work with Iron Cub at the moment, even though it's supposed to, but the reason why we get points into it is so that it can boost Fire in the Skag's Den. There is no reason to believe that Fire in the Skag's Den and Stainless Steel Bear should work together, however they do. Don't know why, but they do. Auto Bear, after Moze exits Iron Bear, it'll remain deployed in place. While Auto Bear remains active, it'll target and attack nearby enemies until its duration ends, and it'll charge at an enemy and self-destruct. Now, Vampire, this is here for restoration of Moze. This is going to be mostly for Moze because we're going to need some healing because we're going under URAD with this build. So as much healing as possible with our cloning mandate tracker, the better. And I picked up Short Fuse because we can get some gun damage causing some explosions, which is also going to be very nice. We have some multi-pellet things in the build so that we can proc Short Fuse even easier. And it does quite a bit of splash damage as well. It's really nice. We don't go too far into the red tree here. However, Armored Infantry is going to give us damage reduction and give us gun damage whenever our shields are active. We're using a front loader on this build, so the front loader is going to give us at least some more shield reservation, so we can have this active a little bit further. We have maximum shield and shield recharge rate being increased and resistant to shock. It doesn't overly matter, but one of the more important things is the corrosive rounds, so that's really nice. And also we need as much shield and shield recharge rate as possible, so it does kind of help, but it's not overly necessary. Drowning in Brass kill steal, you get gun stacks, and your fire rate's reduced but your gun damage is increased. You get 3 stacks, and it's 20% per stack, so 60% damage. Really good. Whenever Moze or Iron Bear scores a crit, you do bonus fire damage. A little bit of green tree, we do Cloud of Lead. Every 4th shot doesn't consume ammo, and we got bonus fire damage. Docker Bear, doesn't matter, we can't really use it that much, however it does Iron Cub damage. This does work. Redistribution for ammo and health off of crits. Stoke the Embers, me and Iron Bear do bonus fire damage. Scorching RPMs, Moze gains increased fire rate and crit hit damage. Iron Bear gains increased hardpoint damage, which is going to be your Cub. And finally, Specialist Bear, Iron Bear damage. If you equip the same weapons, you do a 60% bonus damage. If you use Iron Cub, whatever weapon or thing that you equip to your Cub, it'll double up on it anyways. So that will always work. You can't do 2 separate ones. So this one will always work. Now getting into our gear, there's a bunch of different things that we could do. We're also doing damage along with our Iron Cub doing damage. This is a combination of basically 2 previous builds that I released earlier, which is Atomic Moze and Bulldoze Moze. So we're using URAD stuff. Plasma coils, this one's new. I believe this might be the highest damage, 42,000 damage with 106 dot damage on it, even though the dot doesn't really apply that much, but this might be the highest one I've seen so far. And a Storming Boomsicle. This thing is ridiculous how it works. It's shock, it's URAD, it's Boomsicle, it's times 10. It works great. Hellwalker, we've used this on some previous builds as well. URAD times 10, of course, because it always is. High base damage and good to hit crits. It's also good for fleshy enemies. And I'm using a Plague Bearer just for like big groups of mobs. It's shock, it's URAD, it hits really hard. It's a great mobbing kind of gun, just in case I need to clear some fields and get some stacks rolling, whatever stacks I'm missing or needing. And like I said earlier, we're using a front loader. This one comes with turtle and health charge. So our turtle is going to give us 40% capacity on here. 60% of our max HP is coming back as shield capacity. Now, if you want to, you could put points into thin red line. A portion of your health is reserved and cannot be restored, but your maximum shield is increased by the same amount. This actually isn't too bad of a choice if you want to take out points of the Vladoff skill and put them into thin red line instead, just so you can get more of a tanky shield. That wouldn't be a bad option. You can also get a health charge on this roll as well, so when damaged you have a chance to drop a health charge, and if your health ever goes down, if your shield gets depleted, those health charges will be good to keep your HP up, along with throwing your cloning maddening tracker so you can get some hits to also give you some vampire returning HP. It's great. Our flare calm, you get up to 100% damage while Iron Bear is active. This is going to work for Cub. It has splash damage, max HP, and action steal damage. However, only splash damage is going to work on your Cub. Unfortunately, action steal damage does not work on Iron Cub at the moment. Hopefully this gets fixed really soon. And we're using a Snowdrift Victory Rush. I was using an Atom Bomb Victory Rush earlier just so I can get more radiation explosions with all my URAD. However, I had no other sources of healing because normally whenever you use a Deathless and Moze, you have a Bloodletter. I'm not using a Bloodletter on this build, so Snowdrift Victory Rush was the next best choice. Some movement speed and some damage from Victory Rush if we kill a badass. Very nice. And it also comes with area of effect damage, so I thought it was fitting with the theme. Now, I mostly like to use the shock chains, because shock chains are probably going to be your main source of mobbing. You can also use your fire if you're going against a big fleshy, or your corrosive brands if you're going against, you know, like Wotan or something like that. These things are all really good. I would highly recommend only using the rail guns, because the rail guns, they solve all your problems because you're also doing radiation as Moze. So you have a neutral element coming in through at all times, and you can choose whatever element is going to be the most effective for your mobbing or bossing, whatever you're doing. All right, so let's get right into it. So I'm going to start with the plasma coil because it's ridiculous right now. We'll throw in our Cub. Now the plasma coil is so good. The plasma coil is so good. It's going to hit before the dot damage is even applied. There's often times where it hits so hard that short fuse doesn't even apply. That's how hard this thing hits. So if you really want to clear something very quickly and easily, yeah, plasma coil. That thing one shot. That thing one shot. Iron Cub is going to be one-shotting things for you, and the plasma coil is going to be one-shotting things for you as well. It's an easy, surefire way to get stacks very quickly. But if you want to have some fun, the boomsicle hits really hard. The closer that you are to the enemy, it's actually really good. It hits super hard. I'll show you what I mean. You got to be careful though, because we do have short fuse, we do have torque cross promotion, and we do have URAD and everything. So downing ourselves is definitely in the realms of possibility. But it's multi-pellets, so all the things that we were talking about with crits, those have a easy application. It hits super hard. Generally a good mobbing gun. Now there's one thing I forgot to point out, and that's a Guardian Ring perk. If you have Shield Reboot for 50 tokens, absolutely get Shield Reboot. We were using this on a few previous builds. Rack City was actually a big one. And the reason why, every single time an enemy is killed, you trigger shield regeneration. So the more kills that we're getting, the more that we're triggering our shield regeneration, which means that we can keep our front loader active at all times. So that means we don't go into our 40% HP reserve, which is only 11,000. So we got to be careful to keep our shield as active as much as possible. Now if you want to, if you notice that your Cub is down a lot, you could get Grizzled instead of Vampire. because Vampire is going to be just there for your HP and whenever your shields are down. So you don't overly need Vampire, because if you're keeping your shield regeneration constantly regenning and proccing, you actually don't need Vampire that much. You can actually throw these points into Drizzled, which makes it so that your Cub can appear more often, stay on the field as often as possible. I put points into Vampire just in case. I always like that just in case of emergency, because I do not like going to fight for my life. I just realized I'm on Mayhem 11. I should have actually dialed this back to Mayhem 10, because Mayhem 10 is going to have Speed Demon, and Speed Demon is actually really good for this build. And actually most Moze builds are actually very good with Speed Demon. So I'm probably going to dial this back and throw it on Mayhem 10. I didn't even realize I was on Mayhem 11 for this. Alright, so we're going to go have fun with Trant. You guys know the drill. Whenever we get to this point, we go to Trant and we have some fun with him. So I'm going to go meet you at Trant, and we're going to go have some quick fun kills on a boss here. Alrighty, and we made it to Trant. Let's go ahead and have a few fun kills on Trant here, just to show exactly what Cub can do by itself. And here's Cub with the shock railguns. That's one shot. That's two shots. He missed a shot there. He got walled there. And there we go. So a few things that you can do with Cub to make bossing a little bit easier and faster is you can debuff the boss. So if you want to debuff the boss, you can use things like the Zestov's Eruption, which is actually pretty nice. But if you don't want to, just matching elements like we were talking about earlier is also a good plan on whichever railgun that you want to use. Okay, this time we're actually going to help our Iron Cub. This time we're going to help our Iron Cub. Then I think we're going to do one more, but I'm going to do it with Corrosive Sabbat rounds. Oh, that was a big hit. Yeah, see what I mean? That first time, we weren't even helping Cub. That time, the plasma coil hits. It hits super hard. Okay, there's one more thing I wanted to test out with this, just so that you guys can see it as well. And that's switching to something that isn't considered ideal as an element versus Trant here. So I'm going to put on Corrosive Sabbat rounds. So what the Sabbat rounds do is they place a corrosive like bomb or whatever, and then they blow up after a short amount of time. These things are really good against things like Wotan and Valkyries, and I've used them several times on Wotan and Valkyries. So let's just throw that on. Okay, let's do it. So this is Corrosion Sabbat rounds. So they place a bomb, they resist. Yeah, it doesn't do a ton of damage. Doesn't do a ton of damage. Let's get into the HP. It does quite a bit of damage to the HP, but if you're using that on like Valkyries or Wotans, that's gonna hit super hard. Anyways, I think this is gonna be the URAD Iron Cub build. There's a few other things in here that you can play with. Some flippers with consecutive hits. There's some dark armies with different annoyance. I would probably recommend the railgun damage one, because whenever kills happen and whenever you reload this thing, you get dark armies to appear. And also, these dark armies, they're also going to get URAD damage. So since we're using URAD, you're going to get some extra damage on that. And just holding this, you're going to get 100% bonus railgun damage. Just like we were doing, times 100%. There's some backburners in here if you want to play around with those. Some boogeymans with URAD, railgun, boogeyman. There's an Eternal Flame in here if you want to play around with some more really big guns. Atom Bomb Deathless that I was thinking about using earlier. If you have a way to use it, by all means, it's all yours. PNA with Grenade Thrown. And yeah, that's the build, guys. My name is Bflattened. I'm signing on out of here. Take care, all. Laters.